Okay. Peace and black power, family. Hold on 1 second, 1 second. Let me send out my alerts. Peace and black power to the family. I apologize for being a little late. I'm 15 minutes late tonight. Hold on 1 second. Let me send out the alerts real quick. Let me send out the alerts real quick. Boom, and then we're gonna start chopping up game. Hold on. Boom. All right, there we go. There we go. Peace and black power to the family. I apologize for being late. But we're gonna come in here and chop up some heavy game tonight. I hope the family's doing well. I hope the family's doing good. You dig? Hope the family's doing well. Hope the family's doing good. I listen, man. I hope y'all been operating within the three realms of black empowerment, knowledge of self, economic empowerment, and military science. Knowledge of self, economic empowerment, and military science. You dig? I've heard something about Joe Budden. I didn't really, kind of pay attention to the story. You dig? I heard a little bit about Joe Budden, but I didn't really pay attention to the story. Shout out to the guy, Kenneth Gardner. You dig? Shout out to all the family in the building. But like I say, we're gonna chop up game tonight. I hope all the family, like I say, has been reading. You've been up on your knowledge game, sharpening your mind. I hope you've been investing. This is a powerful time to invest. Holiday season, the stock market, things like that always go crazy during the holiday season. So I hope you've been really, paying attention to investments, things of that nature, and also staying militant, not only mentally, but physically. Okay, working on your defense, the art of war, making sure you stocking up on your bullets. Like I say, you should always have at least 300 bullets on you at all times. 300 bullets at your disposal at all times, whether in your house or wherever you keep your bullets and your stuff. Okay, so I need y'all to be paying attention. We're gonna chop up some heavy game tonight. Let me let the family come on in here real quick. I sent out the alert. I know I'm a little late tonight, so it's probably gonna be slow coming in here. I'm a little late tonight. Let me put it on my other page as well. Let me put it on my other page as well, and then we're gonna get the game chopping up. Hold on 1 second. Let me put it on this page as well, and then we're gonna get right into it, family. We're gonna get right into it. Let me save this. Put this over here. Boom, boom. Uh, 1 second, family. Just sharing this with my Instagram family. As y'all know, I'm still banned on Instagram. I'm still banned from going live on Instagram. A lot of people have been asking me when I'm gonna go live back on the gram. I want to, but I'm still banned. So hopefully by the end of the month, it's been almost damn near 2 months now. So hopefully by the end of the month, I'll be back ready. All right, all right. All right, family. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and get into it tonight, family. Let's go ahead and get into it tonight. Now, peace to all the family in the building. White Ghost, my brother White Flame out in Chicago. Shout out to all the family. Let's just jump straight into the main topic at hand. The topic tonight is when the streets get the calling, only the real man survive. Let me say that one more time. When the streets get the calling, only the real man survive. Now, we have this thing in our community, the black community, especially amongst black men. When we're dealing with certain women, certain men may say something. I don't know, maybe if this is a young thing. I'm sure the older generation has certain phrases or words for women like this, but we'll say something like, she belongs to the streets. She belongs to the streets. I'm sure many of you have heard that phrase before. She belongs to the streets. These are things that men will say when they're generally talking about women who kind of get around, okay? They kind of get around. I ain't knocking your lifestyle, but we'll say, well, she belongs to the streets. She's for everybody, bro. She's not one that you wife up or anything like that. However, something men don't talk about is you got some men who belong to the streets. Okay? The streets also call the men. And the thing about men who belong to the streets, it's more deadly. See, when a man belongs to the streets, that shit gets him killed. Okay? We got to understand that part of the game. We like to talk about when women belong to the streets. See, women belong to the streets kind of just messes up their face card, family. Kind of messes up their face card. Nobody really wants to wipe them up. But when a man belongs to the streets, that shit gets him killed. Okay? He has an expiration date that's about to be punched real soon. We got to understand this part of the game because a lot of us as brothers, as black men, let's have some real talk again. Let's have some real talk. A lot of black men have a street mentality. And when we say street mentality, when I say street mentality, I'm not just talking about you got brothers who are, maybe involved with criminal elements in the streets, dealing drugs, doing stuff like that. We know that's part of the streets. But you also have brothers who just aren't made of anything. They have no substance. Okay. They have no real skill. Okay. They go through life just being fuck boys. Okay, these are men who belong to the streets as well. So they might not be participating in any criminal element, but they don't stand for nothing. They have no morals, they have no principles. These are men who belong to the streets. And the unfortunate thing about men who belong to the streets is, like I say, it gets them killed. And we got to correct that. Yeah. We gotta correct that. Say I was trying to go live with you. Yeah, I can't go live. Like I said, I can't go live on Instagram, family. So I'm blocked from going live on Instagram, but nonetheless, we're gonna chop it up to the on the YouTube. Okay. And see, three things that black men we need to improve on. These are three things that really deal with our mental state. One, we have to bring back and start elevating men who are logic and strategic thinkers. Logic and strategic thinkers. Because when the street comes calling, it usually gets men who are not logic and strategic thinkers. Let me say that one more time. As men, we have to start thinking logically and strategically. Logically and strategically. We have too many Negroes thinking emotionally. We got too many Negroes who let their emotions get them killed. Okay, when the streets come calling, they're so damn emotional that the streets take their life. We got Negroes like this. And the reason why you have to be logic and strategic thinkers as black men in 2021 is because we understand the environment that we're in. Black men, if you don't know already, Dr. Francis Cress Wilson tried to tell you, many of our ancestors tried to tell you, you are at war. And when you're at war, you cannot afford to be emotional, family. Black men, you cannot afford to be overly emotional. And we got a lot of overly emotional niggas. Okay? Women are more so emotional thinkers. And I'm not saying emotional as it's a bad sense or a bad thing, because emotion is a form of intelligence. However, as a man, you cannot be afford to be more emotional than your woman. You have to be logic and strategic thinkers at all times, family, because we are at war. Understand that. No, yeah, people in general don't think logically, but as men, we really can't afford. Because see, if we don't think logically, if we don't think strategically, we go to the streets. We belong to the streets. Okay. There is no, you have shelters and things in place to make sure women don't go to the streets, to make sure the streets don't take the woman's life. For men, you don't have that. You will go to the streets and you're at war. Okay. And you're at war. This is why when you look at any military strategy, when you look at militaries around the world, there's always levels to the military. You got your ground soldiers, you got your captains, okay, you got your sergeants, you got your generals, and then you got the people back home. You got the president who has a certain level of command because they want to make sure emotions are intact. Okay, you can't give too much responsibility to a soldier who's literally in the streets fighting the war because he's very emotional at that time. He might do something that's stupid. So you have to give that responsibility to somebody else who may not necessarily be in the streets at the time. You have to learn to control your emotions. They want logic and strategic thinking at all times. Yeah, they have logic. We're going to get to that. Somebody brought up the mothers because we do. One of the reasons why we do have so many emotional men, because many men today, black men, were raised by their mothers. So therefore, we have a lot of men who think with emotions. We have a lot of men who think like women, who think like women. Just like last year, family, or the year before last, whenever they came out with the whole hot girl summer thing. When they came out with the whole hot girl summer thing, you had a lot of emotional niggas who said, well, it's city boy summer. Okay? Thinking like a woman, thinking very emotionally. See, at the time when you're young, when you're in your 20s and 30s, you're supposed to be building. You're supposed to be thinking about legacy. We have a lot of Negroes who try to outwoman our women. They try to be more emotional. Okay? And that shit, again, that shit gets you in the streets, and the streets get you killed as a man. Okay? When we go to the streets as man, it gets us killed. Women don't get killed in the streets. When we say she belongs to the streets, we ain't talking about she gonna die no time soon. We're just talking about her face card is messed up. For us, we can't afford to go to the streets because it gets us killed. We need logic and strategic thinkers, family. Logic and strategic thinkers, because we are at war. We don't have time to play around. You dig? We don't have time to play around at all. At all, family. So let's be clear. Number two, family, we have to be, everything has to be for a black man. Everything has to be in 2021 about legacy. Okay? The legacy you leave now, the legacy that you're building during your lifetime, and the legacy you're going to leave after. Okay? Let me say that one more time. Everything has to be about legacy. The legacy you're leaving now and the legacy you're going to leave after. Okay? Some of us have legacies, or we build a legacy of being a fuck nigga. We got to get raw tonight. We got to get raw tonight. Some of us leave or build a legacy of being a fuck nigga, of being a troll. Okay? That's all we do. And that's not a legacy at all. That you're just going to die off. You're just going to die off. Your seed means nothing because you haven't, your legacy is not built on anything of substance. Okay? And that's what a lot of us do. And we see that now. Case in point, I know y'all heard the news last week and I used it in the thumbnail. Alpo, I believe his name is Alpo Martinez. Now, some of you might know Alpo by the movie Paid in Full, Rico. Rico left the legacy of being a fuck nigga. Let's be real. He left the legacy of being a fuck nigga. Okay, then did y'all hear the news about Alpo? Got killed in a drive-by last year because, not last year, but last week, because his legacy was tarnished in the game, okay? His legacy was tarnished in the game. He was a man who really didn't have no morals and principles. He did a lot of grimy stuff out there in New York, in the Harlem area. So the streets caught up to him, okay? The streets caught up to him. And that was a message for a lot of you young brothers out there, because a lot of people glorify these type of legacies. A lot of people glorify these type of legacies. You dig? We see this now. A lot of our brothers and sisters, unfortunately, think the Tekashi 6ix9ine route is the way to go. You see a lot of people who build their legacy on just straight trolling, just straight being a fuck boy. Okay, not really building anything, just creating beefs all the time, waving their guns all the time, just being an agent of chaos in general. And it gets them killed. And a lot of them think that work because they look at the Tekashi 6ix9ine and say, oh, well, Tekashi did it. Tekashi's making all this money. Understand, Tekashi, people like the Tekashi 6ix9ines of the world, they're going to the streets eventually as well. Okay? You see, the streets have no time limit on it. The streets have no time limit. Rico, or Alpo is his real name, he did all that dirt shit. He did that damn near 25 years ago. And the streets eventually punched his ticket. The streets eventually punched his ticket, family. Tekashi is going to eventually go to the streets as well. Let's be clear. And some of you are going to go quicker than Tekashi because you ain't got no Secret Service protecting you. Let's be clear. Tekashi's running around here with the Secret Service and things of that nature. Yeah, you say he didn't hide because he was too comfortable. Absolutely. It's way too comfortable. But the streets always catch up with you. You dig? The streets are going to always catch up with you. And especially when you deal with a legacy, or you build a legacy, like I said, of trolling, of just being a fuckboy, not really building anything, you run into big problems, family. You run into big problems. Okay? The streets come calling because your streets is the only option. You dig? We got to start building as black men. Yeah, 6ix9ine, his day is coming. His day is coming. But see, this was a message to you, and I want you to notice you ain't really heard nothing from Tekashi lately. What's the last time you really heard from Tekashi? The streets is calling, and he knows that. Okay? He knows that. But see, I see a lot of young brothers, unfortunately, around my age and younger, taking that route. I'm going to troll my way to the top. I'm going to beef my way to the top. And the streets are going to come calling you as well because you're not moving correct. You're not moving like a real man. Only real men survive the streets. Okay? Only real men survive the streets. And real men don't sit up here making a career off trolling, making a career off being a fuckboy, making a career off being an agent of chaos. Okay? They just don't. They don't, family. Yeah, man. You said hip hop was used as a weapon to our young people by glorifying the violence. Right, right. In the streets. You dig? But Tupac was different. Tupac was different. Tupac's legacy lived on because Tupac, he spoke on things other than street stuff. Okay. He spoke on what's going on in the black community. Okay. He came from a family of Panthers. He left a strong legacy. Understand this. We love Tupac not just for his music. We love Tupac for the man he was, as far as speaking out against the police. Tupac was a rider. You dig? Although the streets took his life because he was playing with that element of the streets, he also stood for bigger things that were bigger than the streets. And that's important. Niggas like Tekashi, niggas like Alpo didn't stand for nothing that was bigger than the streets. They just stood for themselves, okay? They didn't have no real morals and principles in the game. And we see this more and more. We see this more and more. You guys said all the real gangsters behind bars. Yeah, man, the streets don't end well. You're going to end up behind bars and you're going to end up dead. And like I say, it's no time stamp on it. Okay, see, a lot of y'all messing up your legacy card. You messing up your face card now when you're young and you think, well, I'm going to eventually grow out of it. A lot of us be living this so-called YOLO life. Well, I'm going to eventually grow out of the streets. Well, the streets going to follow you. Okay, the streets followed Alpo. He was ratting on people, snitching on people, killing his best friend. He was doing all type of grimy stuff, and it caught up to him. Okay, which is why, as a black man, in order to avoid the street, everything has to be about leaving a positive legacy. Everything has to be about leaving a positive legacy. See, Alpo should have been moving like Kobe. Kobe, did y'all see the news that came out with Kobe? Kobe, of course, owned a company called Body Armor, I believe it was called. He was part owner in a company called Body Armor, and they sold to Coca-Cola. And Kobe's check, his percentage was worth $400 million because Kobe was moving like a man. Okay, everything was about legacy for Kobe, even when he was playing ball. Okay, Kobe was trying to be the best at ball. He was working out 2-3 times a day, every day. He was fighting to be a champion, to be the best he could possibly be. Not to mess nobody over. Kobe didn't leave and go to other teams when times got hard. As a man, he pushed through. And he did the same thing after he retired. Kobe was writing books. Kobe was writing plays. He was making smart investments. Now, I'm sure at the time when Kobe became part owner in Body Armor, Kobe already had $200-300 million. But everything was about legacy for him. He wanted money besides basketball money that his family can eat off of. And now his family is reaping the rewards. So even after Kobe's death, his family is getting billions of dollars down there. Okay? His family is getting billions of dollars because he made smart moves like a real man when he was here. Okay? So now he has generational wealth for his daughters. That's how you're supposed to move. He built something of substance, family. He built something of substance. I don't like you said, my brother White Flynn said, I don't see it that way. College kids listen to Chief Keef. They just trying to turn up. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. That's why we here to talk to them. That's why we here to educate them. Okay? That's why we here to talk to them. That's why we here to ask them and tell young brothers to start moving like a man. Stop playing so much. One of the things we do when we hurt a lot of young brothers when we start telling them to live their life. We hurt a lot of young women when we start telling them that. No, man, you need to get serious. The younger you are, the more serious you should be because you got to build that foundation when you're young. One bad move when you're young can ruin your whole life. You out here moving reckless. Look at the brother, what was the brother's name? Henry Ruggs. Look at the brother Henry Ruggs that plays for the Oakland Raiders. I'm sure y'all seen that story. Oh, let me get a squeak. Look at the brother Henry Ruggs that plays for the Oakland Raiders. That brother has worked his whole life to play in the NFL, to make millions and millions of dollars. Very talented athlete. Okay? He let one bad decision, drinking while driving, ruin his whole career. They caught that brother going 156 miles per hour out there in Las Vegas. He's hit a woman and killed a woman. His career is over now from one bad decision. That's how fast that shit comes at you. That's how fast that shit comes at you. One wrong move. One wrong move. Okay? Now his career is over. He went from possibly being on track to make hundreds of millions of dollars to now he's going to be locked up fighting for his life, fighting not to get 25 to life. Okay? Fighting not to get 25 to life because he made one bad decision. That's how life comes at you. So imagine if you continue to make several bad decisions. Okay? Everything, you always have to be thinking about legacy, man. As a man, you always have to be thinking about legacy. And not just for yourself. You have to think about legacy because this is what gets a lot of young brothers messed up too. We see a lot of brothers out here in the streets killing each other, waving their pistols all on Instagram. A lot of it is because you're thinking with your second head and not with your first. See, as man, a wise OG taught me this one time. He said, young brother, you got two heads. And I'm going to share this game with y'all because some of y'all might not have heard this before. Black men, you have two heads. You got this head. This is the head where we talk about number one has to be logically and strategically thinking at all times. And you got your second head. Your second head is down there. You got two heads. The head right here, which you should be thinking with, and you got your second head down there. Many black men, especially young black men, think with their second head first and their first head second. Okay? Do y'all follow me when I say that? Y'all let your seed get you in trouble a lot of times. Because really, the seed down here is an emotional thinker. The second head is always an emotional thinker. It's doing stuff based off emotion, doing stuff based off ego, doing stuff where I don't really care, man. I got to hit that. I got to smash that. That's the second head. And the second head gets a lot of young brothers in trouble. The second head gets a lot of young brothers in trouble. You got a wise, a strong man can control his second head. A strong man can control his second head. But many of us don't even know we got a second head. Yet the second head is controlling the first head. You ain't logically and strategically thinking. You're thinking with your emotional. You're thinking with your dick. Let's be real. Let's go ahead and call it out. You're thinking with your dick a lot of times. Most young black men do this. And it gets them in trouble. How many young brothers we see all the time beefing over a woman? You thinking with your second head. You thinking with your second head. And it gets you killed, it gets you locked up, or it gets you on a path where you get off your true purpose. Okay, you on pace for 100 million, and now you on pace to meet the streets early because of your second head. A strong man can control his second head. A high value man controls his second head. He thinks logically and strategically at all times. Don't let your second head, brothers, control you. You dig? Control where you put your second head and when you use your second head when it's time. Okay? See, a lot of brothers, y'all end up having to go to the streets, and it starts with your baby mama because you chose the wrong one. Okay? You let your second head get you in a situation your first head can't get you out of. Let's be real. These are things you have to think about, but it all goes back to legacy. See, when you talk about building a powerful legacy, the first head has to take charge. You got to be logic and strategic at all times, okay? When you're talking about legacy. You can't build legacies with your second head. The second head gives you 5, 6, 7 baby mamas. That's your second head legacy. You got to build a first head legacy. Always remember that, fellas. Always remember that. You dig? Move like the Kobe's, don't move like the Alpos. Move something and build something of substance. Okay, go out here, man, get you some skills, learn how to do something good with your hands. Go be an electrician, go be a mechanic if you don't want to go to school or do things of that nature. Build something of substance. Don't build a culture, don't build a legacy of just being a fuck nigga. Okay, plain and simple. Last but not least, one of the big problems with many of our black men now is we don't know, we're not a man because we don't know what we'll die for. A real man always knows what he would die for, and things what he won't do for money or what he won't do to try to survive. Okay? Many of us don't know that. Many of us don't know what we'll die for. So we walk around with our tail tucked between our legs at all times. Somebody can slap our mama and we ask our mama, damn, what you do? Okay? Because we don't know what we'll die for. I die for my mother. You dig? I die for the women that I love, black women in general. If I see a black woman out in the streets getting beat up, I'm willing to die about that in order to save her life. Those are certain things I'm willing to do. What I'm not willing to die for, I'm not willing to die trying to save another group of people. Fighting for this country. Certain things I'm not willing to die for. You dig? I'm not going to do certain things. I'm not going to put on no dress or nothing like that for a paycheck. It's just not me. You see what I'm saying? You got to know these things. You got to have your morals and principles intact off rip before you get money. You got to know it's certain things I won't do for no check. It's certain things I'm not finna die for, or it's certain things I am about to die for. You dig? Yeah, man. We gotta get right. We gotta start moving like the man, moving like a man, because the streets is calling many of our young brothers. The streets are calling. You dig? And you can't escape the streets. When the streets need a body, the streets need a body. Okay? You can't escape it. You can't wiggle out of it. Only the real man, especially if you're not a real man, if you have nothing of substance. You dig? So these are three things we have to keep in mind at all times, family. These are three things we have to keep in mind of all times, because there are going to be many brothers who the streets is going to be calling. And right there, in order for you to escape it, in order for you to get out of it, you're going to have to see what you're made of. You're going to have some substance. You're going to have some real skills, some real talents to fall back on. Okay? You're going to have to think logically and strategically in order to escape the streets. And like I said, the streets is not just talking about brothers and sisters who are in criminal underground organizations or anything like that. You're dealing with the criminal elements of the streets. The streets sometimes is you just living a life of being a fuckboy. Okay, you doing nothing with your life, having no purpose, having no legacy. Those people belong to the streets as well. So we have to understand this, family. We have to be real on this. Now, let me transition a little bit, because I also want to touch on some more current events. You dig? I also want to touch on some more current events. Have y'all been seeing lately? There's been some good things going on in the movie industry. Have y'all seen our brother Colin Kaepernick's, speaking of the streets, because a lot of brothers in Colin Kaepernick's situation, it leads to the streets. Did y'all see Colin Kaepernick's, our brother's documentary on Netflix? Who saw that? Let me transition a little bit, because a lot to talk about as far as that. Did anybody see our brother Colin Kaepernick's documentary on Netflix? Put yes in the chat if you've seen that. Put yes in the chat if you've seen that. If you've seen our brother Colin Kaepernick's documentary on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, you need to go watch it. And it's really talking about how he grew up. You said, yeah, you saw, okay, y'all seen it. It's really talking about how he grew up and things of that nature. And I wanted to talk about this because, our brother had a very interesting upbringing. Great documentary, first of all. Shout out to Colin Kaepernick. I believe he did the doc himself. But shout out to that brother. Yeah, you got to watch it. My brother White Flame, you got to watch it. And to me, it highlights, number one, a lot of our brothers and sisters who are adopted by these white parents. It really takes a toll on them. Our brother Colin is one of the few who would kind of escape that. because it's easily when you're adopted by these white parents, it's easily they raise you to be a coon. Let's be real. And Colin kind of went in the documentary. He went in on his adopted parents. He went in on his adopted parents, and a lot of white people, they were on Twitter crying foul. Oh, Colin is just showing them so much disrespect. But our brother was speaking truth to power. And a lot of black children go through this. Understand these little white parents, they try to get out here and adopt these black children and then try to turn them white. Okay, try to turn them white, tell them that they can't braid their hair, they can't grow their hair out, and they need to clean cut and all this type of stuff. Okay, they do a lot of these things, and it harms the child for life. Okay, a lot of these coons, even when you look at today, a lot of these coons have a white parent. Okay, a lot of these coons have a white parent. So we got to be clear. And those white parents start instilling in them all this self-hatred, all this, you need to date a white woman. They were doing all type of stuff to Colin. You need to date a white woman. They wouldn't let him braid his hair when he was young. Okay, they would never call out obvious racism shown towards Colin. You dig? They would just kind of ignore it and kind of charge it to the game. They would always blame Colin for it. You dig? But our brother Colin was, fortunately, he got awakened to it. Fortunately, he got awakened to it. Yeah, you lose your identity to white parents. And understand this, they find all type of ways to take black children away from black parents as well and give it to those suspected white supremacist white parents. You dig? And I think Colin highlighted that beautifully. Our brother Colin highlighted that beautifully. You dig? This is why, man, we got to stop giving our babies away. If you're not, if they're not being taken from you, man, we got to stop giving our babies away and raise them to be strong, young black men or women. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. You dig? But I had to talk about that. I also want to talk about, too, there was another great movie that came out. Did y'all see The Harder, what's it called? The Harder They're Hit, The Harder They Fall. I believe it's called, about the black cowboys out west. That was a great movie. That just came out. Who saw that on Netflix? The Harder They're Hit, I believe it's called. Let me see exactly what it's called. I think it's called The Harder They Fall. Hold on one second. Let me see 1 second. That was a great show on Netflix. Did y'all see that? Great movie, I should say, on Netflix. It just came out a couple days ago. Just came out a couple days ago. The Harder They Fall. The Harder They Fall. Yeah. Great movie. That's a very influential movie. And what they did in that movie, they highlighted a lot of the black cowboys and black, just heroic figures out west. Like, we forget, when we're talking about cowboys, family, we got to remember 1 in every 4 cowboys were black. About 25% of the cowboys were black out west. But this is a story that's never told. Many of the popular movies that came out in the past few decades, Lone Ranger and things of that nature, were really highlighting many of the lives of the black cowboys out west, okay, and the black heroic figures in the west. So in this movie, they paid homage to Nat Love. Shout out to Nat Love, the great ancestor, who is one of probably the most famous cowboys out west. Bad brother. Very bad brother. They shout out to Nat Love. They shouted out to Bash Reeves, who was one of the first U.S. Marshals out west, out in the Texas area. Okay, Texas, Oklahoma, all over. Arrested over 3,000 bad guys. You dig? Arrested over 3,000 bad guys. Hold on 1 second. Okay, hold on. We got trolls in here. Yeah. But anyways, they shouted out to Bash Reeves. Who else did they shout out? Jim Betworth. I believe it was Jim Betworth. They shouted out Bill Pickett. Okay. Cherokee Bill. A lot of these are hidden black figures who were ruling out west. Okay. Whether on the good side or the bad side. Excellent film. Excellent film. They shouted out Stagecoach Mary. Powerful sister. Okay. A sister who was really about their life out there. A sister who was really about their life. Yeah, I got him out of here. I blocked him. Yeah. Yeah, Bash Reeves did inspire the Lone Ranger. Absolutely. Absolutely. These are stories we need to know. These are stories we need to know. And I'm guessing Netflix is going to make a nice little bit of money off that, family. I'm guessing they're going to make a nice little bit of money off that. And we got to start telling more of these black stories out west. Now, the story was not based on a true story, but it used real historic figures. Okay, it used real historic figures. Damn near everybody in that in that movie, The Harder They Fall, was a real, actual person, historic figure out west. Okay, out west. Yeah, the Rufus Buck gang. That was a real gang led by, I believe it was black people and Native Americans. Some of the Mongoloid natives. I don't like calling them Native Americans, but some of the Mongoloid natives. You dig? Those were real life people out west. So things like that are good to see, man. That's good for the babies. If you have a chance, you need to show your babies that movie, The Harder They Fall, and give them the history behind it. Because we can only depend on them to do so much, family. Hit that like button while you're in here, family. Hit that like button. We can only depend on them doing so much. See, they'll mention and they'll shout out the Nat Loves, the Bash Reeves, the Stagecoach Marys, okay, the Bill Pickett's of the world, but they always try to put it in the realm of fantasy, okay? They always try to put it in the realm of fantasy. You dig? So it's up to us to take that little alley oop and make sure we dunk it all the way home with the babies. So we got to let our babies know these are real people they're talking about. You dig? These are real people they're talking about. We got to give them the true history behind it. That's where we as parents come in, as the older members of the black community come in. We got to give them the real game behind it. That's very important. Yeah, that's very important. And many more. Yeah, that was very important. Yeah, they shouted out a lot of black historic figures out west. A lot of them. You said they were cattleman. Yeah, cattleman first. Absolutely. And I believe more than one in four cowboys were black as well. You did. You got to remember, man, we were roaming out west. You had a lot of indigenous cowboys like Cherokee Bill. Cherokee Bill, they try to pass him off as just being native. Cherokee Bill was actually, he had a mulatto mother. His mother was biracial. Okay, Cherokee Bill was out there running with a lot of natives because he came from a native lineage. Okay, this is some of those foundational black Americans out there. Yeah, Cherokee Bill was a bad brother. You dig? Bash Reeves spoke a lot of the native languages out west as well. That's why Bash Reeves was so successful. Bash Reeves spoke a lot of the native languages out there as well. Bash Reeves was enslaved. He whooped up on his slave owner and went out west. He learned a lot of the native languages and spoke a lot of the native languages. And one has to ask ourselves, how did he know these native languages? I'm just saying, putting two and two together. I hate to put on the tinfoil kufi, but we got to ask the question. How did he know a lot of these native languages? Okay, did he have some native blood within? That's one of the reasons why he was so successful. One of Bash Reeves' partners was a Native American. Okay, one of his partners that helped him take down a lot of those bad guys was Native. So we had a strong relationship with a lot of Native cultures out there. Yeah, man. We had a strong relationship with a lot of Native cultures out there. So movies like this are very powerful to see. But again, it's just an alley oop. We got to take that little alley oop and bring it all the way home. Give our babies all the way the full story. That's very important. Very important. Now, also, I got to say this, man. And shout out to the people on Netflix. Also, another movie that came out highlighting some of our great ancestors was Amina. Did y'all see Amina on Netflix? Lord. Did y'all see the movie Amina on Netflix? Now, Amina came out. I've been promoting it on the page. Nobody asked me to promote it, but I just wanted people to go see the story. You know, I'm thinking it's going to be a thorough story. Oh, my goodness. Did y'all see the movie Amina on Netflix? Listen, family. When we're doing movies on our ancestors, man, listen, man, we got to have a set budget. That movie was horrible. And I was trying my hardest to get into it because it was, that's how like one of our powerful warrior queens, Queen Amina, who was a queen in modern day Nigeria, powerful warrior queen, led armies of over 20,000 men, conquered vast territories all over West Africa. You dig? Warrior queen, excellent fighter in the field. She would rival somebody like a Queen Nzinga from Angola. But boy, that Queen Amina movie was horrible. Boy, that Queen Amina movie was horrible. You can tell some of the scenes literally look like they shot it on an iPhone. And this is what I'm saying, family. I know we be wanting to put out black movies and we want to put them out independently and things of that nature because I'm getting into the film industry next year. Sometimes you have to put some respect on the ancestors' name. Okay, if you got a budget of $10,000 for a movie highlighting one of the ancestors, you're gonna have to keep that. You're gonna have to raise some more money, bro. Oh my goodness. Some of the, I mean, just the fight scenes were horrible. I'm like, oh my goodness. You dig? They didn't really have really any real fighting scenes or war scenes to the last 10 minutes of the movie. And then when they had them, it's like, damn, you could damn near see stick figures in the background. Yeah, man. I mean, it was just horrible. Horrible, family. Horrible movie. I was trying to get into it, but I'm like, Lord. Then they turned Queen Amina. They kind of made the story like a romance story. Queen Amina wasn't doing no romancing. Queen Amina was turning up. Queen Amina was a warrior queen. Okay, she was conquering territories. Queen Amina was really about that life. You dig? She was really about that life. I'm thinking when I turn on a movie, man, I'm gonna see some action scenes or something. Boy, that shit was horrible. So listen, family. Sometimes, like I said, when I jump into the movie industry next year, we gotta do things thoroughly. We gotta do things thoroughly. A lot of people, we just do things and say, "Hey, man, it's black owned. It's a black movie supported." Brother, you got to put some quality to it as well. I don't want to call out the company who did that. Shout out to them, but they could have did a much better job with that movie. Literally, some of the scenes look like they got shot off iPhone. You could tell they were only using maybe one or two locations. Uh, it was just bad. That's something our baby's not gonna take a lot from that. Yeah, I saw Sankofa. I haven't finished Sankofa because I had never watched Sankofa before. Yeah, you said you should check out the movie Sankofa. Yeah, I gotta see it. I gotta see it all the way. I haven't watched. Probably watched the first 20 minutes of it, and then I had some work to do, so I stopped watching it. But I might finish that tonight. But boy, that Amina movie was horrible. Some of the fight scenes in there was like you could see they're on the scene counting like one, two, three, ha! Like goodness, man, you did. So listen, man, when you do certain stuff, family, it gotta be quality. It gotta be quality stuff, especially when you're doing stuff highlighting the ancestors. You dig? So when you put quality on the ancestors' name, the ancestors will reward you. You dig? The ancestors will reward you. So we have to understand this. Yeah, that was very disrespectful. Speaking of disrespectful, family. Oh my goodness. Speaking of disrespectful, boy, the Democrats just keep ratcheting up the pace. This came out the other day. The Democrats just keep ratcheting up the pace. They keep ratcheting up the pace. Let me share my screen. Let me share my screen, family. One second. Uh-oh. Let me share my screen real quick. Oh, make sure I'm not freezing. Speaking of being disrespectful. Hold on. What's going on? What's going on? Let me see. Okay. Speaking of being disrespectful, so the Democrats, last week we talked about the Democrats. They had given they're in talks to give $450,000, family, to illegals. They're in talks to give $450,000 to illegals. But meanwhile, while we're talking about reparations, this is what the Congress is discussing. Congress declares November as Hip Hop History Month. Who in the hell asked for this? Huh? Who asked for this, man? They give us everything but what we asked for. I have never heard nobody sit up here and say, listen, man, is when we gonna get hip hop history month? Have y'all heard? Let me know in the comments, family. Let me know in the chat. Have y'all heard anybody talk about wanting hip hop history month? And they're around here. You got Negroes from the Butter Biscuit Caucus, aka the Congressional Black Caucus, out here running around talking about this is a victory. Congress declares November as Hip Hop History Month. Nigga, please. Who in the hell asked for Hip Hop History Month? Nobody. No, this is what they're discussing, family. This is how disrespectful they're getting. Now, when it comes to immigrants, they ain't out here discussing what month are we gonna make Taco Month. They out here discussing tangibles, actual dollars. When it comes to us, Congress is sitting up here discussing Hip Hop History Month, and they're around here parading Maxine Waters around here talking about, hey man, she was instrumental in pushing this. Well, she needs her ass whooped. Maxine, and a lot of black people like Maxine Waters. You dig? I'm not really friendly with politicians. You know, I respect Maxine and some of the work she put in, but Maxine, it's time for you to step down. It's time for you to step down. If you out here in Congress and this is what you're sitting up here talking about, Hip Hop History Month, nigga, it's time for you to step down. Okay? What the hell is this gonna do for us? Right. And so remember, while other groups, Asians, they got, hold on, let me take this down. So while Asians, okay, the Asians, they got their anti-Asian hate crime bill. They're allocating millions of dollars specifically to the Asian community. Okay, illegal immigrants at the border who were in the act of committing a crime, and in the act of committing that crime got separated from their children, they're in talks to get $450,000. Yet foundational Black Americans who received more hate crime incidents last year, according to the FBI. Never forget the FBI in 2020, they reported that the leaders, the hate crime victims, the most hate crime victims came against Black people. We didn't get no anti-Black hate crime bill. Okay, we've been separated from our children and still getting separated from our children even to this day for the past 400 years. We don't get talks for no $450,000. What we get the Juneteenth holiday, family. You got Biden. Remember, Biden he made Juneteenth a national holiday. And now the Congress is doing Hip Hop History Month. Lord have mercy. Okay, that's where we're at, family. All of you Democratic Negroes who went out here and supported them, boy, y'all taking an L. You're taking an L. And understand this. Hip Hop History Month, family. Hip Hop History Month, all that's going to be, hold on 1 second. Hip Hop History Month, all they're going to do during this month is they're not even going to honor foundational Black Americans. They're going to turn this into a Caribbean thing. Let's be clear. So all this month, not only do we not get tangibles, they're going to turn this into Jamaicans created hip hop. That's what they're going to, all we going to hear this month is Kool Herc and Jamaicans, us immigrants gave you hip hop. Understand, that's the spin in it. They ain't even finna honor foundational Black Americans. This whole month, all we gonna hear is Jamaicans created hip hop. Kool Herc came over here and started playing Caribbean music, and Lord, ever since then, you Black Americans have just been taking our culture. That's what it's gonna be, family. Understand this, no matter how many times we debunk that lie, that's what it's gonna be. Everything is strategic that they do. So for the Negroes out here celebrating this, the foundational Black American Negroes out here celebrating this, nigga, they're not even finna honor you. They're gonna take hip hop. This is really, November is gonna be the month where they take hip hop away from foundational Black Americans, because they're gonna turn this into Caribbean Jamaican Fest. Okay, and this ties all the way back into the immigrants. So when they say, hey man, what have immigrants done for this country? Immigrants didn't help build this country. They're gonna start saying, well, shit, on November, it's Hip Hop History Month, and there would be no hip hop without us Jamaicans, without us immigrants, which is a lie. Okay? Which is a lie. Yeah, I know Kool Herc didn't create hip hop, but that's the narrative they're going to be pushing. Okay? That's the narrative they're going to be pushing. So they've been trying to so-called throw us a bone because they understand black people, many of our people are in love with symbolism. So we just like symbolic gestures and things of that nature, but we're not going for it, family. And this is why the Democrats, they had a couple of elections last week and earlier this week, I should say, and the Democrats have been taking a L, family. And they've been out here on MSNBC, CNN, talking about black voters. Lord, y'all black voters, y'all need to get out here and vote. Niggas ain't voting for shit. We ain't voting for that. A lot of black people are going to let the Democrats crash and burn, which they deserve to do. Okay? They're going to allow them to crash and burn. Let's be clear. They're going to allow them to crash and burn. And they've been trying to send their Negro flunkies like this. You've had, hold on. Now remember, this is last week. Let me go to this real quick. This is last week. 1 second, family. Now, this is Negroes. Remember, when we were out here getting on how Joe Biden and his campaign are giving reparations to illegal immigrants of 450,000. They sent their Negro flunkies out here, and this is how they were talking last week. This is how they were talking last week, and this is why nobody is really rocking with the Democratic Party. They see it for what it is. They make any excuse to give these folks some money. Now, check this out. This is one of the Negro flunkies, and she kind of hangs out with Roland Martin, and y'all already know how Roland's operate. Listen to her.
Chaos agents trying to run with this misinformation, disinformation campaign that President Biden is paying quote-unquote reparations to immigrants impacted by Donald Trump's child separation policy. Now, I know the reason why they chose the word reparations is because they want to draw a juxtaposition between the fact that American descendants of slaves, of enslaved people, have not gotten reparations and trying to make it seem like, look, Joe Biden is giving immigrants reparations before they give black people reparations. Where are our reparations at? Joe Biden ain't doing shit for black people. That's what they're trying to evoke and get people all jammed up about. Well, here are the facts. The fact is, for one, we don't even know if it's true. This is what the Wall Street Journal is reporting. That's being considered. Okay? It's not even a done deal.
Lady, damn near every news publication has published an article talking about this. It's a confirmed damn source. It's a confirmed damn source from Wall Street Journal to MSNBC to goddamn CBS to local news networks. Everybody's confirming this story. They're in talks with them. Do we really put it past Biden? Come on now. Now they playing done that. We don't know what this is now. Negroes love to live in denial. Every damn now, any other time, if anything come out about Trump, oh, they sucking it in fast as hell. Ooh, look with this. Look what egg rolls and pasta noodles network posted. Any source will do then. Now all of a sudden they don't know if the sources are accurate, but continue.
But what we know is that there were over 5,000 people who were impacted by Donald Trump's inhumane and cruel child separation policy. Now, look how motherfuckers ain't have to argue that it's okay to separate these families. Man.
Yes, we are making that argument because, see, it's okay to separate black families. See, we're not going to play the whole morality thing when it comes to black folks. This is what they do with black folks' family. When things happen to us, when we get our asses whooped, when we get our kids separated from us, when we get hit upside the head, then they find every justification under the law. Oh, well, you shouldn't resist it. Well, you shouldn't have been behind on your child support payments. You shouldn't have did this. You shouldn't did that. You find any way to take our kids. But then when somebody else get their kids taken, I know y'all ain't condoning this. No, motherfucker, you said it was cool when they were taking our kids. So let's continue to play the game. Don't try to move the goalposts when it's somebody else. Now, all of a sudden, when somebody else, another ethnic group, they're getting their kids taken. Now, all of a sudden, we supposed to cry foul. No. You made these rules. Y'all said it was cool. Black people, we can have our kids taken. We can get hit upside the head. We can get killed in the streets unarmed. We can be enslaved with no reparations required. Now, when it comes to other groups, don't say nothing about that. Okay? Let's not change the rules.
Maybe you are, maybe you are. Now, there are hundreds, over 900 lawsuits, claims that have been filed against the United States government, claiming a number of things.
Oh, good.
So, what the Biden-Harris administration is considering setting up a settlement system in which the family would be paid up to $1 million or $450,000 per person if only one person is involved. So, do the math. 450
do the math.
for $1 million. Also, do the math. How much does it take to litigate these cases? It's not free to defend the United States government against lawsuits.
Please.
Okay? So, this is an orderly and a timely and a more economical solution to the fact that hundreds, if not thousands, of lawsuits are being filed against the United States or have been filed against the United States. Now, they've thrown out a number of up to $1 billion. It may not be that much, depending on how many people actually file a claim. That has to happen. So, this isn't a matter of reparations. It's not a matter of, look at Joe Biden doing something for immigrants and he ain't doing nothing for Black people. It's a matter of settling lawsuits against the U.S. government, period.
Nigga, please. Negro, please. Family, foundational Black Americans have been suing the United States government for reparations for decades, and we've gotten squat. Our cases get thrown out and dismissed left and right. Now, all of a sudden, some illegal immigrants who ain't even citizens, now they file a lawsuit against you, and all of a sudden, you so afraid. Oh, Lord, I don't want them to take us to court now. All of a sudden, you trying to do settlements. All of a sudden, oh, it take money to handle these cases. Family, foundational Black Americans, hold on. Because, see, this is why we got to know our history. These folks talk crazy. Like, we've never taken the United States to court. We've been all the way. Malcolm was going back to the UN back in the 60s, trying to get cases put against the United States. We done been to international court, and all of our cases get dismissed and thrown out, or we get the runaround for years and years and years. Hold on, family. 1 second, because this is ridiculous. Now, this is back. Oh, let me share my screen. Okay. This is back in 2004, family, and I can go back further. Black folks, we've been trying to take the United States to court for reparations. Now, this is back in 2004, and this is on NBC News. Slave reparations case dismissed. A judge dismissed a lawsuit brought by descendants of slaves against corporations that say profited from slavery. They've been dismissing our cases forever, family. They've been dismissing our cases forever, long before from their child at the border. Now, all of a sudden, oh my God, well, the difference is this ain't no reparations. The difference is they taking the United States to court. We've been taking them to court, and we don't get nothing but a Band-Aid and a foot in our ass. Okay? And this judge, back in this case, he dismissed the case because he claimed he couldn't find any conclusive evidence that these companies and corporations, okay, like the Lehman Brothers, actually benefited from slavery, which is the game they play with us. Okay? And then you can check this article out. This is on NBC News. Judge dismissed the case. Okay? So hold on 1 second. Let me go to, I want to go to actually what the judge said. Okay, now the plaintiff said these are beyond the constitutional authority of the court. See, they play this game with us. Well, the court can't really make this type of decision. See, when it comes to us, when we have wrongdoing done to us for hundreds of years, now the court can't make those decisions. The court can make a decision to throw a young Black man's life away, though. They can make that decision. Okay, they can make that decision right there with the quickness. So we've been taking them to court. Dr. Claude Anderson has been trying to put cases against the United States for slavery for the longest. Please, man, please. This is only a game they play with us. Yeah, check a lot of these corporations, family. Shit, Dr. Claude Anderson. You talking about proof? Dr. Claude Anderson talks about this in the book Black Labor, White Wealth. I mean, what proof do you need? See, they play this whole proof game with us. A lot of these companies, family, in 2021, a lot of these companies, universities, Harvard, all these Ivy League schools have come out and admitted, hey, listen, man, slaves built this institution. Slaves built this school, especially a lot of these insurance policy companies. Hey, a lot of our early insurance policies were based upon slaves. We had insurance policy put on slaves. They've come out and acknowledged it. But then when they get to court, all of a sudden, well, we can't technically prove that now. They can't technically prove it now. Please, dude. Now all of a sudden, when Saint Marie and Carlos they get to the border, now all of a sudden you're so afraid of a lawsuit now. Stop it. Stop it. They like to play dumb, family. They like to play dumb when it comes to us. They only do this when it comes to us. Okay? And when foundational Black Americans call them out on it, then they start calling us, oh, you stupid fool. This ain't no reparations. I know y'all ain't going to say nothing about kids getting separated at the border. Oh, yes, we're going to say something about that. We're going to say something about that, and we're going to call foul on that because you didn't say nothing when our kids were separated at the border. We ain't going to do this, like I said, we ain't finna do this whole thing of when it's somebody else, some wrongdoing done to somebody else, all of a sudden we supposed to co-sign it and put on a cape and fight for it. No. No. Plenty of companies, okay? Plenty of companies. You did Bank of America, like I said, universities, Harvard, Yale, Brown. Down here, one of the best universities down here, Emory University. The school was literally built by enslaved people. Okay, our ancestors. Let's be clear: the railroads that were laid down, industries. You got whole damn cities that were built off enslavement. New Orleans was a slave city. You dig? New Orleans was a slave city. Cities like Savannah, cities like Baltimore. Some of the first stocks and bonds sold on Wall Street, some of the first stocks and bonds were Black people. Because remember, we were considered properties. We were like commodities. Now, all of a sudden, well, we bring this up, the obvious shit that's on record. All of a sudden now, oh, well, we can't prove that. Our cases get dismissed. And they've been doing that for the longest, dude. They've been doing that for the longest. But Carlos, they in the act of committing a crime, trying to cross the border, and their kids get separated. All of a sudden, I guess their case is airtight. Oh, we can't defend against this. We got to settle. Stop. This is a form of reparations. This is a form of reparations. Let's be clear. Don't let no Negro flunky try to tell you nothing different. Okay? And don't let no non-foundational Negro flunky get out here and try to tell us what we are owed. Because I came out, hold on 1 second, family. So I came out, let me see if I can find this real quick. This is the other day. Family. 1 second, let me pull this up. Oh man, it's kind of small. It's kind of small. I don't know if y'all are going to be able to see this. Let me see. Let me share my screen. Because I had it on my thing, and then she blocked me after I put it up, so I had to screenshot it. Hurry up and screenshot it. I can't. I wish I could show y'all on the thing. Let me see. Now, this is... Can y'all see that, family? Can y'all see the words? Ah, that's way too small, huh? But I had a Negro flunk. I'm going to read it out to you. Now, I was getting on some of the illegals last week on my live show. You know, how these illegal immigrants are getting reparations. And you always have some non-foundational Black Americans come and jump in the chat talking this type of talk. We are the only race still begging for reparations from the people that took our planet. I don't want reparations. I want the abolishment, and everything they built becomes ours. Nigga, stop. Okay? So I responded back. I said, again, oh damn, let me go back and let me see where I responded back at. Let me see where I responded back at. Okay. I said, cool. If you don't want reparations, fine. All we ask is you don't get in our way. Okay. So they play this whole game and she starts going on a rant. Well, y'all know y'all ain't gonna get reparations. That's immigrant coon talk. Whenever you have a person talking about some, y'all know y'all ain't gonna get this, y'all know y'all ain't gonna get that, that's immigrant coon talk, family. Only immigrant coons talk like that. Non-foundational Black Americans talking about what we ain't gonna get. Because see, as foundational Black Americans, There has never been a time in our history when it's just been easy for us to get stuff. See, a lot of foundational Black Americans, we cool with playing the long game. We cool with staying consistent. We cool with fighting. We've been fighting for 400 years. You dig? We cool with that. At one point in time, they said you ain't gonna never get off this plantation, but we got up off that plantation. At one point in time, they said, listen, man, you're not gonna have the right to vote, you're not gonna have X, Y, and Z, but we got that. You dig? We got that. You ain't gonna be able to go to this restaurant, you're not gonna be able to go to this bank, you're not gonna be able to go to this grocery store, but we got that. So we're cool with fighting the long fight. But some of these non-foundational Black American Negroes, or coons, I should say, because all non-foundational Black Americans are not coons, but you do have a coon class, a strong coon class. They sit up here and every time we're trying to get something, talk about what we ain't gonna get. They ain't never gonna do this. That's coon talk. And the reason why they talk like that is because they fled. They get over here, start trying to talk that. She was trying to talk that, oh, well, we need to just fight and we gonna need to take back the planet. Nigga, shut up. You didn't have none of that energy over in Ethiopia, over in Somalia, over in Nigeria, when these Chinese and the white folks were over there slapping you up. You didn't have none of that rebellious energy. You fled. Let's be clear. You fled. And now you want to get over here and start telling us what we ain't gonna get after you didn't fled. You dig? Notice that, family. They do that a lot. They always talking about some y'all begging and y'all just need to take it from the white man. Nigga, why didn't you take it back in your home country? Why is the Chinese over there running rampant over in the Caribbeans, over in Africa? If you were doing all this fighting, they don't never keep that energy back home. They be on the first thing smoking out of there. They be ready to get over here. Then they get over here, they turn into Queen Nanny of the Maroons. They turn into Queen Nzinga. They got all the smoke now. You dig? They Queen Amina when they get over here. Oh, us jive turkeys, we need to pick up our arms and fight now. They don't never have that energy back home. You dig? They don't never have that energy back home. And then when they see us fighting, instead of just shutting the hell up and staying out of our business, now all of a sudden they telling us what we need to do. Y'all need to stop begging. God damn it, you mean like you were begging to cross that border? Like you were begging for that green card? That's what we need to stop doing? And I've broken this down plenty of times. We ain't begging for no reparations. We listing out our demands. We telling them this. If you want our vote, this is what we need done. Plain and simple. Don't come even talk to us if you ain't doing this. Now, we still going to do our side things. We still building. We still banking Black. We still trying to build our own infrastructure. We ain't waiting on them, but we letting them know, listen, if you want us to participate in this certain process, if you want our vote, this is what we need. Otherwise, we're going to keep it pushing. Otherwise, we're going to keep it pushing. Plain and simple. But watch these folks. This is why we say non-foundational Black Americans cannot speak for foundational Black Americans. It goes out the window because our cultures are different. We come from a different lineage. We cut from a different cloth. Now, we genetically might be the same. Okay? Yeah, we all have African blood. Yeah, at one point in time, most of us were all in Africa. But we cut from different cloths. We come from two different cultures. Okay, you fled your culture. Now you want to put that fleeting energy on us. Nah, we ain't finna do that. We ain't finna do that, family. We got to start getting them right. We got to start getting them right. You dig? We ain't tolerate no more disrespect. No more disrespect. You cannot speak for us if you are not a foundational Black American. And when I say a foundational Black, I'm talking about only full-blooded foundational Black Americans have the right to speak about the reparations that we deserve. Okay? Other groups do the same thing. This ain't nothing new because a lot of times they always talk about we the only group that is be divisive. Other groups do this all the time. Nigga, you can't be, even on a criminal level, nigga, you can't be a made man. Okay? If both of your parents ain't from Sicily, nigga. Your lineage on both sides got to go back to Sicily. It can't be my father's side comes from Sicily, but my mother's side goes back to Russia. Hell no. You can't be a made man then. See, we got to start getting on some mafioso type stuff with foundational Black Americans, because we look up and these folks speaking for us, just like they just elected what was the governor out there in Virginia, the new lieutenant governor, I believe, out there in Virginia is a Black woman, but she's Jamaican, and she's up here talking on Fox News talking about some Richard Nixon was the first one who started talking about Black power. What the hell are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? You dig? Did y'all see that on Fox? She was talking about some Richard Nixon was the first one to start talking about Black power. Hell no. That's that non-foundational Black American BS. We ain't going for that no more. We ain't going for that no more. Hit that like button, family. Hit that like button. Shout out to the beautiful sister, Miss Brown Skin Barry. Shout out to all the brothers. Shout out to Brother Ja, White Flynn Blame. Okay. Shout out to all my brothers and sisters checking in. Where's the family listening from tonight? Where's the family listening from tonight? But we got to start coming correct. We got to start coming correct, family. We got to start coming correct. We got to let folks know, foundational Black Americans, we're here to stay. We're unapologetic with it. We're here to stay and we're unapologetic with it. Okay, of course, my brother out there in Chicago, got a lot of Chicago love out here tonight. Shout out to the family out there in Brooklyn. Shout out to Houston. Shout out to Michigan. Shout out to Virginia. Yeah, man, y'all better be on family over there in Virginia. Y'all better be looking out for these non-foundational Black American coons. And this is another reason why I don't let these non-foundational Black Americans sit over here and talk about Pan-Africanism. Nigga, there has been no other group of Black people who have been bigger Pan-Africanists than foundational Black Americans. We are the only nation of Black people that allow you to come into our land as a non-foundational Black American, speak against us, and put you in position of power. Not one. You can't go over there. If I, as a foundational Black American, if I moved to Jamaica and went over there and was talking greasy about Jamaicans, disrespecting their culture, talking about, hey, some white supremacists gave them Black power, it's no way in the hell they would let me rise in the political ranks. Only in the nation of foundational Black Americans can you do that. We're the only group. We're the only group. Shout out to Pennsylvania. Shout out to Philly. Shout out to Cleveland. You dig? We're the only group. That's why I be letting folks know, man, listen, when we talking Pan-Africanism, don't come to foundational Black Americans talking about some Pan-Africanism. Nigga, we damn near, we set the blueprint for Pan-Africanism. Okay, we are Pan-Africanism. We the only nation of Black folks. You can come in, talk about foundational Black Americans, and we'll make you one of the most powerful people in the world. Kamala Harris has a history of disrespecting foundational Black Americans, and she's sitting up here as the Vice President of the United States. Only in America. You cannot do that in Nigeria. Okay, as a foundational Black American, I can't go over to Nigeria, talk bad about Igbo people, and then become the Vice President of the United States. I can't go over there and not do nothing for the native population and then become the president. They won't even allow you to do that. Hell, you can't even get citizenships in a lot of these countries. There be brothers over there trying to get citizenship. You got to be damn near a millionaire to get citizenship. Okay, let's be clear. Yeah, Stokely we had, but see, times were different. See, back in the 60s and the 50s, when a lot of the non-foundational Black American family came over, the Garveys, the Stokely Carmichaels of the world, when these brothers and sisters, even Malcolm's mother, when they came over, things were more segregated. And segregation, to a certain degree, as far as building in the Black community, was a good thing. It was a good thing because we couldn't depend on any other group. If we wanted a grocery store, we had to go out there and build the grocery store. And we had to make sure our dollars circulate within our community because we couldn't spend it with nobody else. You dig? We couldn't spend it with nobody else. So a lot of non-foundational Black Americans, they had to come over on code. Even if they came over within the criminal elements of society, they had to be on code. Like Queenie, okay? Queenie Sinclair, okay? Madam Queenie out there, who was kind of the godmother to Bumpy Johnson up there in Harlem. She came over on some criminal elements. She used to sell a little dope. She ran numbers and did policy, but she also funded a lot of Black businesses out there. So it was a certain level you had to come over on code because you had to live amongst foundational Black Americans. Now you don't. Okay. So now the white society say, well, shit, we can get some of these non-foundational Black American coons and we can bring them over here and put them in office and they'll help us meet our quota, but they're not gonna do nothing for Black folks because they don't have to. You dig? It ain't segregated. Ain't like they got to go back and live with Black folks and within the Black community. You dig? They didn't have to do nothing. So this is part of the game. This is things that changed over time. So they started vetting people that would come over. This is another reason why too they didn't let a lot of those Haitians over. See, they can't vet those Haitians that were at the border. They couldn't vet 15,000 Haitians like that. So they couldn't let them over. And then Haiti has a history of fighting back against systematic white supremacy. So you can't really let them over in droves like that. Yeah, you're going to have some coon classes that just happen to be there, but you might have a Jacques Dessalines come over, and they can't have that. You might have a Toussaint come over. You dig? You can't have that. You might have a Sonny Belair come over. Oh, no. They couldn't vet all them. So Biden said, no, you keep them right there at the border. Y'all pull out the whips, do whatever y'all got to do. I'll gas up the plane. We got to send them niggas back. We can't vet that many at one time. You dig? And see, they'll let 50,000 Afghanistan refugees come over because these are people who are already been vetted. They get vetted in their home country. Understand, this Afghanistan refugees, they already know what the deal is because they treat Black people like that back in their homeland. Okay? Out there in the Middle East, they treat Black people like shit out there. You dig? Out there in those northern African countries with those Arabs up there, Libya, places like that, they be out there enslaving Black people. So they already know about the code when it comes to Black folks. But Haitians coming over, yeah, you're gonna have some Haitian coons in that bunch that could be beneficial, but we don't want to let one of these Dessalines slip over in here. You dig? Somebody who's on code. So they let them over slowly but surely. They'll let Kamala's parents over because shit, Kamala's father down there in Jamaica, he came from that coolie class, which was a Black slave owning class. Her mother, on her birth certificate, identified as white, so they already knew she had some self-hatred going on. So they said, oh shit, we'll let them over. We'll let the Kamalas over. And sure enough, you raise top cop Kamala, who gets up here and brags about being the top cop and locking Black man up. You dig? Yeah, some of them don't have the spirit. Shout out to the brothers and sisters in Haiti. Some of them don't have the spirit, but that spirit lives within. See, it's hard to break it out of you. Okay, some of that spirit lives within the Haitian people. And see, the thing is, you got to understand, my brother Kenneth, if 10,000 coons come over and 100 revolutionaries come over, that's not a good odds for them. Okay, understand, they have a problem. White supremacy has a problem controlling Black revolutionaries and foundational Black Americans who are just 13% of the population here. They already have a problem with that. They can't afford another 100, 200, 300 coming over in droves. They can't afford that. They can't afford that. You dig? So that Haitian spirit is going to live within. They can't take that risk, so they had to keep them. No, we got to send all of them back. Yeah, man. We got to send all of them back. So you got to understand that part of the game. Shout out to the family up north. Man, family, hit that like button. Hit that like button, family. Shout out to Greensboro, North Carolina as well. Shout out to Greensboro. Yeah, she ain't from here, like I say. But we catching it now. See, we're catching it now. A lot of people have awakened to the fact that, hey, man, there are a lot of non-foundational Black Americans being put in positions of power and speaking greasy. Okay? Now watch. If she does something that is revolutionary, watch what the headlines say. Oh, this Jamaican woman did this, did that. If she fucks up or does something bad, because all she's going to be doing is doing the deeds of the white supremacists. Let's be clear. If she does something bad, it's going to be a Black American. They're going to lump her all in there with us. Okay? So watch that. Watch that, family. Watch that. Oh my goodness, hold on. I don't know how these bots keep getting in here. I got to figure out I got to figure out how do I get moderators on StreamYard. I got to figure out how to get moderators on StreamYard, family. You dig? But put your questions in the chat below, man. I'm about to get off of here, but if you got some questions you want me to talk about, somebody asked me earlier about Joe Budden. I haven't heard about Joe Budden. I heard some things a little bit, but I don't know if that's what you're talking about. What about Joe Budden? I think my brother Kenneth asked that earlier. He asked about Joe Budden. What about Joe Budden? You dig? What about Joe Budden? I see he was on there with the sister who belongs to the streets, Brittany. He was on there with Brittany, and I talked about earlier as a man not leading with your second head. You dig? Not leading with your second head. You dig? Brittany is one of them ones, brothers. You need to stay away from the Brittany. What's her name? Brittany Reiner of the world. Stay away from that. Said he came out as bisexual. Okay, cool. More power to him. The truth will set you free. You dig? The truth will set you free. If he came out, shout out to him. You dig? All I ask is my brother don't start trying to turn everything into an LGBTQ agenda. You dig? More power to him. God damn it. You dig? Yeah, man. Yeah, she's not for man. Our brother laid his seed in that, and boy, he's about to get 18 years of hell. A lifetime of hell, really. Now I heard about the Kanye West on Nora last night. I gotta watch that. Somebody told me about that too. I don't really rock with Kanye like that. So I mean, I'm not a Kanye fan or nothing like that. But I'll have to check it out. You said the comments was something else from the Michael Jackson. Yeah, I ran across that video and I put up that Michael Jackson video. A lot of people got upset about that. A lot of people got upset. It's a lot of controversy surrounding Michael, And notice how Negroes like Oprah, they were over there. They were best friends with Michael. Negroes like Oprah are very dangerous. I call her Oprah, not Oprah. Oprah sat up there and she used to smile in Michael Jackson's face and, oh, I love Michael. And boy, now she out here running pedophile campaigns on Michael. Talking about Michael, oh Lord, we just got to accept the fact he was a pedophile. Okra, if you don't get your hungry ass on somewhere, you did. Yeah, I saw the Ahmaud Arbery. That's white supremacy 101. Down here in Georgia, in the Ahmaud Arbery case, they threw out all of the black jurors. They got one black juror on the case, and that's probably a Candace Owens Negro. Yeah, they got one black juror down here on the case in the Ahmaud Arbery case. And a lot of black folks are crying foul and white folks are trying to spin it, but it is what it is. It is what it is. That's just a part of the game. See, we got to get to the level. I'm going to tell y'all when change is going to come. Change is going to come when we're going to get justice by any means necessary, like Malcolm said. Change is going to come when we're going to get justice by any means necessary. See, this is one of the things we can learn from white folks. White folks get justice by any means necessary. OJ got off. They trumped up some charges and gave OJ the max sentence the next time he did something. Boy, they be taking OJ real estate. They be taking OJ everything. OJ got off. They're going to make sure they get theirs back. You dig? They're going to make sure they get theirs back. See, we got to get to the point where white people hope they get sentenced because they don't want to go back into the real world because they know the streets need a body then. You dig? That needs to be the message. That needs to be the memo. Okay? That needs to be the norm. Okay? We're going to get it by any means necessary. So you can either do your time, okay, or you can come back to the streets because the streets need a body. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Yeah, I'm like I say, on the Kanye thing. But yeah, that's just part of the game. I knew they were gonna do that. I think the defendant for those white supremacists in that case, he already has said we need more white men who drink beers and what did he say, do dip or some shit like that. But he basically said we need some more old white rednecks on the case. You dig? And notice how the judge on that case was on code because the judge came out The judge came out talking about some, well, I can see there was discrimination between the how the black defendants got their question, how the black jurors got questioned versus how the white jurors got questioned. But I didn't feel like it was my place to step in. Nigga, please. See, this is how all remember. This is why I tell y'all, I don't allow white folks to relegate white supremacy to Trump or to the Klan. White supremacy is in all levels of activity. Okay? It's in all levels and areas of activity. There's white supremacy in the judge, there's white supremacy in the supermarket, white supremacy within farmers, within agriculture societies. White supremacy is in all walks of life. That judge sat up there and say, hey man, I can see that the black jurors were being discriminated against, but nah, I'm not gonna stop it. That makes him just as bad. But that's what they do with us. That's what they do with us, family. Yeah, man. That's what they do with us. I saw the Kyle Rittenhouse. Did Kyle Rittenhouse today come with a verdict on his yet? I saw when he went to trial. That's going to be, again, they're going to have some BS in that case too. They already done said in the Kyle Rittenhouse case, the people he killed, they're not going to even allow them to call them victims. So you already know that's going to be some BS. Yeah, man. This systematic racism. We got to understand that. Understand that part of the game, family. But the streets gonna need a body. See, we got to get to the thing where, like I say, something happens, and the court doesn't do their job. Then, as the streets have to do theirs. Plain and simple. The streets have to do theirs. Plain and simple. I tell you what, if Ahmaud Arbery was my brother, and I mean this, and I'm not saying this to be a tough guy, and I've said this before. If Ahmaud Arbery was my brother, I'm gonna get justice by any means necessary. I'm gonna get it by any means necessary, bro. Straight up. If something happened to my son, my daughter, my mother, my father, you dig? My sister, my queen, the streets need a body, nigga. He better hope he go to jail. The streets gonna need a body then. Plain and simple. Plain and simple, family. The price of freedom is death. Other groups understand this. Other groups thought they are the justice. I'm going to turn it to the police, something happened to me. I'm going to get the justice by any means necessary. You did? Because it goes back to what we talked about being a man at the beginning, man. You got to know what you would die for. Certain shit I'd die for without hesitation. A good death is a reward. Everybody going to die. I want a good death. That's a good death to me. Dying for something I believe in. Standing on my morals and principles. Yeah, I'm just being real, family. I'm being real. Something happens, they gun down my brother, my sister in the street like that. You talking about 3 white men came up and just did an old school lynching. I mean, this was an old school lynching. They just saw a Negro running and they just started chasing them and lynched them. They took justice in their own hands. Oh, nigga, I ain't got to call Al Sharpton. Y'all ain't got to call Ben Crump, Al Sharpton. I don't need to talk to Kamami Harris or Jim Crow Joe. I don't need no phone calls. I don't need no phone calls. You dig? The streets need a body at that point. Y'all better get to them before I do. You dig? And after I do the crime, I'll turn myself in. The streets need a body. Plain and simple. And we know this as a people. We be trying to act like, oh shit. Well, nigga, I be seeing niggas out here, they family members get killed and gunned down in the street. Lord, I just don't know what we need to do. Nigga, you know what you need to do. See, niggas know what to do when black folks do something to them. Boy, black folks do something to them. Black person step on your damn all white Air Forces. Boy, you pulling out Glocks and everything else. Oh boy, niggas ready to go to war about that. Shit, some white supremacists, a white supremacist cop kill your kid. Now all of a sudden, Lord, I just don't know where we went wrong. Lord, Al Sharpton, we need Al Sharpton down here being Crump. Lord, I just don't know what went wrong, what we need to do. I don't know what we need to do. Nigga, Brother Chase knows what you need to do. Huh? But I know what I need to do. Destiny has called my name. It is time. The ancestors are calling me home. Okay, something like that happens. The ancestors are it might be time for me to transition back into the ancestral form because we go on to war. Plain and simple. We go on to war because if we don't go to war in that situation, that sets a precedent for that to happen again. Well, shit, we chase shit. If you ain't willing to die about your loved ones, your family, your queen, your mother, your father, then damn shit, what somebody could just come do anything to you at that point. You did. I mean it. I'm a brother. I've never been arrested. I ain't no street dude or nothing like that. But it's just certain morals and principles that, man, we have to live by. We have to stand on. You got to stand on. Somebody mess with your queen. It's time for you to go to war. It's time for you to go to war. Nigga, cities have been burned down because men in the past have messed with a woman. You dig? Cities, whole neighborhoods have been burned down. That's one thing I respect about the white man. The white man, even look at a lot of the Black Wall Streets of the past that were burned down. The Rosewoods, Black Wall Street out there in Oklahoma. That was burned down because a white woman supposedly got raped. White man didn't sit up there and say, hey man, shit, let's call a representative. They said, nigga, grab your gun. They got a white woman got raped. Grab your gun. We going down. We gonna tear the whole community down. Y'all better get that nigga that raped her before I do. Even though it was propaganda, even though it wasn't even true. Just the thought of somebody harming the white woman, a black man harming a white woman, that was enough to set it off. Same thing happened in Rosewood. Emmett Till. Whistled, just you whistling at a white woman. Killed that young brother. And on our end, on our ancestors' end, that's what started the civil rights movement. Because it's certain things, oh, you killing kids now. Oh, hell no. Fuck it. It's time to go to war. Let's be real. Yeah, man. It's just time at that point, nigga. If some white supremacists come and take a family member's life, that might just be destiny, family. It might be time for you to go to war. It is time for you to go to war. I shouldn't say it might be time. It is time for you to go to war. It is what it is. At that point, you dig? And when you die and when you live a good life and die a good death, you'll be back again. I ain't worried about that shit. I'll be back again. You dig? Because remember, you are your ancestors. I'm a combination of all the ancestors that come before me, and we back again. My great grandfather, John McGee, back in the early 20th century, in the early 1900s, he was in Starkville, Mississippi. He used to raise all types of hell down there. It's a part of the Masons down there. He was responsible for a lot of the self-improvement going on in the black community down there. White folks hated him. But he lived a righteous life, and now he's back again. He's back inside me. And we speak in truth to power. You dig? Something happens like that, you got to ride. You'll be back again. Don't worry about it. Yeah, man. Emmett Till was 14, but I'm talking about the principle. Yeah. Nah, I ain't have to live no street life. And that's guy never wanted to be a street dude. Never wanted to be a street dude. I respect street dudes. I respect how people were raised. But two, I was raised in a 2-parent household. The reason why I speak like I speak, because I had both parents. That's a blessing, man. We don't understand how big it is to have both parents in the house. That's one of the reasons why I never got in the streets. I had that divine feminine energy of my mother and that divine masculine energy of my father to create that perfect balance. You did? So I never felt like I had to go prove my manhood in the streets. You did? That's why it's important, man. We gotta stick together. We gotta bring the black man, woman, and child back together. Too much feminine energy is dangerous. Too much masculine energy is dangerous. You need that perfect combination. This is why the ancestors, one of the oldest religious symbols, if you want to call it religion, is the black man, woman, and child. That combination, that divine trinity, that's powerful. That is God. That divine trinity is perfect. Yeah. Yeah, man. You just gotta ride, bro. You gotta ride. You gotta do what you gotta do. Shout out to you said hold on one second. I think I'm behind on the comments. Oh yeah, my thing ain't been scrolling. Thing ain't been scrolling. Yeah, hit that like button, family. Hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that bell icon for me. We love you too, sister. We love you too. Sister says she loves black man. We love you too. And we're gonna work to make each other better. We're gonna work to make each other better at all times. We gotta keep pushing. Yeah, man. People don't even stand for their mother and children. Like I say, man, don't live a life. See, those type of niggas belong to the streets. We were talking about that earlier. People who won't even stand up for their own mother and children. I'm telling you, man, you got niggas out here. Somebody slapped their mother, a cop slapped their mother, boy. These niggas will turn around to their mother. Goddamn, mother, what you do? I told you to stop talking. I told you to stop talking. Nigga, I wouldn't give a fuck. Nigga, shit. Some stuff, like I say, some stuff, nigga, that's the ancestors calling your name. If something like that happened, nigga, you were put in that position for a reason to channel the spirit of Ogun. I wouldn't give a damn nigga had a badge or whatever. Certain morals and principles, certain things you gotta be willing to die for, family. Your mother, the woman, the children, come on now. You gotta ride in that situation. You gotta ride in that situation. I always tell people, like, listen, don't go looking for smoke, but when it comes, embrace it and deal with it. Embrace it and be prepared for it. Yeah, man. Yeah, but I'm about to get off of here, family. Listen, man. Hit that like button. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. We're gonna be back next Friday at 8:30. Hopefully I'm gonna try to see, because I ain't checked my live in a minute. I checked it like last week and I was still blocked. So hopefully, before the holiday season, or if y'all celebrate Thanksgiving, I'll be off the live, because I'm gonna try to get back on Instagram live a few times a week before we do the live show. But we're gonna be going live every Friday at 8:30. Hit that link down below if you haven't already. Go get the Voice of the Ancestor series, family. Go get the Voice of the Ancestor series, and just keep pushing, family. Keep working. Make sure that you have an ownership mindset this weekend, going into next week. There are a lot of stocks going crazy right now. You need to be investing. You need to be practicing ownership. Okay, cryptocurrency, different things of that nature. You need to always make sure you're pushing to be better, family. Always make sure you're pushing to be better. But this is your brother Chase, and until next time, you know what it is, man. Peace and black power. I'll see y'all later.